Evening. It is Tuesday, February 6th, 2024, and I'd like to call to order the Town of Ulysses Planning Board meeting. And we'll do a roll call for the record.
Rebecca Schneider. Linda Little.
Bart Gregg. Pete Angie, Chair.
Carl Pankowski, alternate.
Low Klein.
All right. I would like to ask if anybody has any comments or additions to the agenda for tonight. And if not, I would
I do have a
accept the
question.
motion. Yeah.
You sent us something with curls or kerns, but that's not on the agenda. Are we covering that tonight?
That was my request to the board if
When
So-
did you send that?
maybe a week or something. So we have Bennett is not on the agenda now. They may be on the next.
That's good, because we didn't have a lot to talk about with them.
Correct. So, but we do have Kenneth Carl here. So if possible, if I can squeeze him in.
I see. I think we probably could. Is it for a sketch plan?
Yes.
Okay. What day did you send that?
Second. But didn't we have a public hearing from Bennett?
Yeah, we do. No, not for Bennett,
Oh,
for Burroughs.
Burroughs.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm just gonna look for that email and the
That was in the second. Yeah. With the staff report, I should say. And with that, we also received one comment in favor for the Gulky tram. That was also distributed on the second.
right.
So did you send an application for curls? Or just the information on the, an application of that?
Yep.
Somehow.
It's under the request of the planning board. There's a link there.
I mean, there was something later.
Yes. It's- Still looking through my emails for the second. There's too many of them. And when I searched your name, it went back in time. Search plan. So I don't see one from planner. Or from you. From sec.
Before that.
Yeah. And should I be looking for planner Ulysses.planner@gmail or planner at town of Ulysses?
It's only Tompkins or it's no longer Gmail.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the NY.gov.
Yeah, I have like, well, let me see, maybe it's in this thread.
Well, it's mine shows up in the same one that has the agenda. It's like a second iteration of that same email.
Got it.
Attachments are down there.
Oh, yeah, I see it. It's down here. Yes, attached to that. Okay. Ah. Well, the applicant's here. Let's add it to the agenda, but I'm gonna need some time to review it.
It's actually pretty complex. If they present, I actually wanted more time to think about what I'm gonna ask them for because it's a lot of hardening. So it's not a simple glance at.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to review it in 5 minutes.
Okay, okay,
There's a lot involved.
okay. Yeah, it like sort of sandwiched down in the email, so it's. Your email's not in my list of inbox stuff. It's like down there. All right, well, let's see. Yeah, I do. Do some stuff real quick. there's history here too, from 2017.
Yes,
Yeah,
2018 also.
way back. That is a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd like to put that on for our next meeting, because the second is sort of, it's pretty close to the time of this meeting. Especially with, a weekend in there and all that as well. We like to have our material, I think it's at least 2 weeks, and we try to go with a month ahead of time. So I do appreciate you coming here, but we really want to review it, and the whole point of us having this meeting with you when we do have it is so we can ask you for, possibly additional material, and that you'll be able to produce all the additional material that's needed. Whereas if we rush through it, maybe we'll miss something, and then that could delay things even further. So, all right,
Appreciate your
all right,
consideration.
sorry for the delay, but thank you. All right, so I would suggest removing the Bennett subdivision from the agenda. And I would accept.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, so, any discussion? All in favor of approving the agenda with, Bennett 2 lot line subdivision removed?
I,
Excellent, thank you. So we have our minutes from January 16th, and that is, next on the agenda. Have folks had a chance to review the minutes?
I can't vote, but I want to say that they were really well done.
Yeah,
I need to catch
They
up
were,
on what was
they were
happening.
very well.
Finally
They're,
catched up.
they're always very well.
Well, this time I was really in the flu, so we had
So I would accept, a motion to approve the minutes. As written.
make a motion.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Abstain.
abstain.
So we have how many ayes?
Well, I need to be an eye on that because I was active on that.
Yes, you were.
Meeting, yeah.
Yes. you were. So we have two ayes and a third aye, as the alternate, but you were voting at that meeting.
Right.
So I think that should carry it. All right, so next on our agenda is privilege of the floor. Is anyone here tonight that is not an applicant? And I'm looking online because I know the applicants are in the room. Is there anyone online who's not an applicant who would like to take advantage of 3 minutes of privilege of the floor to address the planning board with any community, planning board related business from the community? And if you're online, just speak up. All right, no takers. So we'll move on from privilege of the floor to our first order of business, which is the Gulkey Tram site plan review. We previously had a review in which we asked for neighbors to be notified and signage out front. Both of those things occurred. I went there today, saw the sign out there. We decided it didn't need a public hearing, but confusingly, the signage says public hearing. And our order of business today is to the final review of the tram, and if we find it fitting, resolution to proceed. And let's see here. It is a 100-foot tram from the upper portion of the lot down the steep slope to the lower portion of the lot near the shoreline. Per Ulysses Town Code 212-43, accessory buildings, including accessory structures such as this tram, associated with single-family residences are permitted in the lakeshore zone, but require site plan review when within a slope overlay area. I know upon review of the application materials, we noted favorably that the trees, most of the trees on the lot have been left in place as they need to be. Going there today, I didn't walk down, I just peered down, but I could see how the tram really does sort of, bisect large mature trees, which both provide cover but also provide root structure. Jenny, does anyone here have any questions for the applicant or for comments on this is open to discussion.
No, I think we went through all of it already.
239 was not required. And you also, you mentioned that we had a statement in favor of the trend. So if there's no, well, I feel like Rebecca and Linda, you're looking carefully, you're just reading the resolution.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Where conditions were,
Mhm.
the BZA conditions.
Yeah, yes. And my question to the applicant is, are you familiar with the conditions of approval that exclusive of the safety egress stairs attached to the tram, a separate stairway to the lake shall not be constructed? Yes. Okay. All right, I would accept, or, yeah,
Now we can
yeah,
note on that,
please.
there's one of the, I asked Niels about it earlier, what kind of befuddled me was, okay, so if the BCA covenant, well, requirement or condition was actually to have a covenant that said for now and all future, that there would not be a stairway, and there's no way to do that. And I'm not really coming up with a solution, I just think we should be aware of that. That, you know, there's no, until property is sold, the covenant wouldn't be there. So if for some reason it didn't, you know, we're relying on the,
The goodwill,
Mr. Gawkes
right?
from remembering to do that when he's so well. And so what I'm thinking is there should be some way that you could require a covenant be put in. Or I would think, but I don't know if that's true. It's more of a question, so that it's put in.
Right, I get it,
advance.
yeah.
Because somebody could get hit by a chicken truck or something. You know, then it goes into a state and nobody knows about the requirements and it gets lost. Good point. We had that for the other property.
We did for, well, Carl, for your property. With your
No, I
tram.
was thinking of the one with the TNC or the little piece.
We,
Thank you, Ben.
yeah, well, that was a conservation easement.
Right,
Yeah,
Mm.
so that goes with the current,
yeah,
so it already is
yeah.
included, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was different. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
got it. And the only reason I know this is because we have a deal like that in our deeds for the property from the farm, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, Niels.
If the board wants to, you can add to that condition that that needs to be recorded prior to CO. So with the building permit, prior to getting final or certificate of occupancy, they would, you know, have to show proof that they recorded that.
That it was recorded where, though? In the certificate of occupancy?
Yeah, the county clerk.
And it would be this condition and this resolution, which is what would be recorded.
It would be, right, it would be tag teaming on the BZA's condition, but with a little bit more clarity on time. Because the BZA just said at time of, like Linda said, property transfer. Which, you know, Linda already talked about the
Right.
issues with that, but if you wanted to ensure that that happened, then you could put a condition that that needs to be done prior to CO.
And it needs to be recorded, where would it be recorded? I'm just curious, what are the mechanics in the deed
Yeah, they would just rewrite it, that's all.
prior to certificate of occupancy? And
Yeah, and Schedule A with the covenant or something.
And then they would just have to show the record, they could just give us the recording number.
and for certificate of occupancy for the new owner, is that what you're saying? It's,
For Chris Galkey, the applicant.
okay. Yeah, I would be in favor of
I am.
that.
In very much in favor of that.
Yeah.
And what is CO?
Certificate of occupancy, it's
Okay,
basically the final of the building permit.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. So with that additional conditioner, and Chris, are you following that? So we're talking kind of quietly,
Yes, and no.
yes and no.
I think the very clear instruction in terms of what you're asking for is hearing there's some confusion amongst people already at the moment. I think that would be very helpful. That it's very well documented what exactly needs to happen, where it needs to happen, why when it needs to happen.
Yeah.
I don't recall the exact wording of the covenant that the BZA put forth. I recall the broad strokes. And as I'm thinking about it, as we're doing this, I'd like to just make sure that it's, given that this is going on in perpetuity, it's reworded in such a way that it's essentially a tram or stair. So in 10 years, for example, the tram has exceeded its life, a tree falls on it, whatever, it comes out, the
That's
stairs.
a real upgrade.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah,
That's-
that is good.
Good idea.
So can they do that? It says, that's not what it says.
No, it's,
I
well,
thought it said will not ever be a stairway.
the egress stairs, it does say not ever.
Right, but that's
So-
with the presumption that the tram is all.
Plan
Okay,
forever.
One,
Right.
yeah, right,
Right.
either or, not both, okay.
Right.
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 Right, so
Right.
one, well, I'd like to be worded one or the
Yeah.
other at
Yeah.
any given time.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So I think what we'd be looking at with this resolution would be changing the initial condition to say, you know, exclusive of the safety egress stairs attached to the tram, a separate stairway to the lake shall not be constructed so long as the tram, you know, remains operable or, you know, it
Remain in place.
remains in place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because if it's.
because it could be
inoperable,
inoperable.
Yeah.
And be there for 50 years.
Right.
Yes, remains in place. And then I think what Neil's, your point was that, this condition shall be recorded in the deed prior to, issuance of the certificate of occupancy.
Yes.
So those would be the two restrictions that we'd be looking at.
Okay, and that would simply be a matter of hiring a lawyer and having the title deed
Yeah,
changed.
have the.
Yeah, that's.
Put it like in Schedule A, it's a covenant, I think, I don't know, but the lawyer would know
Okay.
exactly that. They have,
So they get.
they have it
Well,
all the time.
So here's something, if we put in,
Yeah.
yeah,
What's the building schedule on the tram?
9 months ago.
Well, I realize that, but,
At this point, Sean is online. Sean would be able to, I think he's on here. He would be able to answer that better than I.
I'm just testing my microphone here. I'm not sure I can be heard, but
Good.
somebody raises their hand, I can see. Yeah, great, thank you. Yeah, we're fairly flexible. Obviously, Chris and Amy have been patiently walking through this process, so we are kind of ready to install as soon as the snow thaws. So spring or early summer type of thing, we would schedule them in. So so we're definitely 2024 for sure.
all right. So what does the board feel about that, that second edition?
I like it because it's, I mean, we go to all this trouble to try to protect something,
Yeah.
the BZA actually puts,
Yeah.
restrictions in there, and this is where the little weak link in the whole thing is. This one thing will make it, do what we want. but it won't.
Yeah, and we could continue with that, you know, sort of going forward. As the
Yeah.
plan is.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
And it's an easy process to have the deed rewritten. It's not a big deal. They just add it to the bottom of the deed, that's all.
Okay.
And it's not very expensive to do
Okay.
that.
So with those two conditions, the one rewritten to reflect either or, for the stairs and the tram, and the one to reflect it being, that condition being a component of the deed. I would accept a resolution to accept planning board, accept a motion to accept planning board resolution number 2024-004. Points 1 through 15. Now therefore, the planning board resolves the following: the planning board hereby grants site plan approval for the proposed site plan as described above, points 1 through 15. and is shown on the site plan noted above, subject to the following two conditions, as discussed.
So,
Second.
All in favor?
All right,
Aye. All right. Thank you very much. You're a step closer.
If I may ask, what is my next step?
All right, so your next step would be, I would say connect with Niels, because I want you to be able to have the exact wording that you need to have added to this deed, so you're not chasing your tail.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay, can do
all right.
but otherwise he's ready to go.
Otherwise, you're ready to go.
that. Thank you very much. I did bring the sign back.
Okay,
Also,
thank you.
David. So, okay, do this.
That,
Thank you.
all right.
And the sign can just leave like
It's
that.
right in the hallway.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, Sean, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. All right. So. We have the Burris 2-lot land subdivision. Public hearing. We have sketch plat review, come back and done another one, provided us with the materials that. You've also adjusted the dimensions of the lot, so they're conforming to the code for the town of Ulysses. And I will open up public hearing for Burris 2-lot land subdivision, with stating what the application is for. John Michael Burris has applied for a minor subdivision for the subject site to subdivide the existing 12.15 acre lot into 2 lots. Conservation zone requires a minimum lot area of 5 acres, 450 feet of lot length, 400 feet of lot width at the front of the lot line. Flag lots are permitted. This is a flag lot, subject to the requirements, which require the poles to have a minimum of 50 feet at the foot and 100 feet length. We conducted a preliminary sketch plat review on November 21st and December 5th. Then on January 16th, we issued a negative declaration of environmental significance. We also scheduled a public hearing for this date. The proposal was subject to 239 review, which the county reviewed the project and determined it will not have a significant countywide or intercommunity impact. And so I open public hearing. Are there any members of the public here for the Burris 2-lot land subdivision public hearing? See somebody's dog up there. What is the name on that? Can you
This is Charlie Wolf.
Yeah,
All right,
Hold on.
okay. Well, I'm gonna ask the board members if you have any questions for the applicant or if you have any discussion among ourselves.
I have a question. I know that it was revised and I wasn't here on January. Could you just tell me what was revised?
Yeah, it was the width.
Okay, I have it on the screen, so they made it a little
They
wider.
made it wider and then they also made a leg of a flag come down to the road. So.
I see 2 flags coming
Yes,
down.
so that this makes it wide enough, but it also gives it 2 flags.
Okay, so that's what the,
And one has a driveway on it, and the other does not.
okay. Okay. And I see the driveway sort of goes through everything.
It does.
Yeah.
And is there, I mean, I know this is family, is that right? Or is it? Sorry, I know the other property property owners that share the driveway. Are they family members?
Of mine?
Yeah,
No,
no, okay,
no, the ones, kind of in back of where
yeah,
I am now, they've been there. Quite some time, 17 years, something like that. That piece of land has just changed hands several times until I purchased it. I'm just ready to build on. it.
okay. Do you have a written agreement with them?
Yeah, so there is, usage sharing, basically, it's pretty, simple, it just says that, anything built along that shares any maintenance costs, any plowing costs, anything shared by anybody that connects to that,
Right.
driveway.
That's in
So
your
that-
deed.
Easement.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that better be in the deed,
Yeah.
You should have
otherwise.
advised.
Easement,
Yeah. And then we see a well in here, and then the septic is sort of on the southern end of the property, from what, I believe from what you had stated, is that right?
Yeah, if you're. Looking out of the house, it's
Yeah.
kind of off the right hand corner, if that makes sense, kind of downhill from the house. You know, it naturally flowing down.
Towards Teganic Boulevard.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I see you, you had the lot line go, so your well remains on your property, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Do board members have any questions for the applicant? And Carl, you're an alternate, but you can ask questions if you'd like.
I have no questions.
Okay. I would, since there are seemingly no comments from the public, I would accept a motion to close the public hearing on the Burris subdivision.
Yeah,
Second, whatever.
First,
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Have people had a chance to look at the planning board resolution? 2024-005, a resolution of final subdivision approval of the Burris 2 lot line subdivision located at 1474 Teganic Boulevard, Town of Ulysses, tax parcel 18.4-10.32.
Mhm.
And if folks have any questions, concerns, or comments about the resolution as written, points 1 through 8, or the conditions. And are you aware of the conditions? There are 2 of them. I'll read them if you're not.
Please do.
Conditions of approval: 1, the applicant shall submit a final plat map in conformance with the final minor subdivision map checklist within 180 days from the date of this decision for approval signatures, or this approval shall expire. Niels, I'm gonna ask you what for a little explanation on that, because I see this survey map here and it looks professional.
Yep, so any subdivision application, applicant needs to submit well, 2 hard copies that are to Tompkins County's recording specs. Normally it's 2x3. But it has to have that signature block that you as the chair sign off on. And under state law, it just needs to be submitted to us for signature by 180 days from the date that the board approves it.
Okay, but we typically don't see this, so typically has that been done at this point?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, all right, and that's something you're able to do? All right. And then 2, all lot corners shall be marked on the ground with a pin, pipe, or monument by a licensed land surveyor.
Orange pieces of tape don't count.
Orange pieces of tape. So with those 2 conditions of approval, I would accept the motion for planning board resolution number 2024-005. Planning board hereby grants final subdivision approval for the proposed minor subdivision as described above and as shown on the map noted above, subject to the conditions as read.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I'll second you. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Night.
All right, so I'll sign those maps when we receive them. And you'll be able to move ahead, but I think we have to have the signatures. Fire, so get those in as soon as we're able. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So. Next on. Agenda for tonight. I didn't print out the agenda, so I got it. All right. We have, I see board member reports, but I'm taking that as board liaison report. Mike, you have the floor. Yeah, right.
Well, no, actually, that is supposed to be, because when we, the comp plan was supposed to give you a report, Rebecca or me, we give you a
Okay.
report, but there hasn't been a meeting until tomorrow, so we can't give you a report.
Okay.
Next.
Okay. Well, then Michael, then you do truly have the floor.
Okay, so I don't have anything new from the town board right now. This is one of our long stretches between meetings. But what I do want to share with you, I'm going to the Association of Towns in a week and a half or so. And I'm going to give you guys each one of those. This, I didn't realize you guys aren't going, but this is an example of some of the training stuff they have down there. I think I've got enough for you. And then this right here is, on this one is recent changes in wetlands regulations by the New York State DEC. So these are the ones I pulled out that might be of interest to us here. And just take a look at it. So I've got something for each one of these. And then you guys can work on me too. So if you, and I can send you the full packet. I didn't see much more in there, because this one. Here it says Monday, Tuesday. Lists the ones that are pertinent to planning board trainings. So if you guys see something you want me to go to, I've been going to these for a number of years. This one might be of interest to you.
Great.
I spent some time to be a certified town official, and so I had to get credits in like 10 different categories. So I was targeting those, and now that I've already got the certification, I was gonna pass it up to you guys and then the town board also, clerk. To see if there's other classes, you guys say, hey, can you go attend this one? And then bring the information back to us, because oftentimes they have a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Might be, so the one that interested me was this
Definitely.
wetland.
The wetlands,
Yeah.
There's been some questions, so.
Where is this
This
being
is
held?
New York City.
Oh, New York City.
The New York.
That's where they have it. That's where they had it last year too.
Yeah, they have
Terrible
it there every
place.
year. Apparently it's convenient for them because the ones coming from Albany and such.
Yeah.
Or people that are flying into, they could fly into Kennedy or take the train or whatever. Seems to be good. So I enjoy going to it. I learn a lot down there.
Yeah.
There's just, it's like 2 intense days of session. And then my favorite part is Senator Schumer comes and he's so much fun to listen to. Because he's like this grandpa, he tells a story about his family and you're like, oh my God, it's like going to church, you're getting so good at listening to him for 45 minutes or so. So
Yeah.
he's a fun one to listen to. So, yeah, so check that out and see if there's something, send me a note. You
Mhm.
say, hey, yeah, please bring it.
This is for you. It's not for me.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks
so
a
that's
lot.
all I got.
Yeah, all right,
That's
Easy
awesome.
one tonight.
Thank you.
great, thank you.
Yeah.
And Michael, I just wanted to ask you the webs, this is unrelated to this, thank you
Okay.
for this, but the email on the town website. When I emailed you through that, it bounced back to me,
Fine.
yeah.
Huh.
So I would
Was
just,
that the .gov?
whatever is on the town website, yeah, so.
Oh,
Let's see, let me go town Ulysses here. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of it.
yeah, I was not, because I had trouble getting mine updated.
Hmm.
And I came in, I met with Carissa, we got it updated. So some things are coming in. It's been pretty quiet, which is nice because the other
Yeah.
email was published for so long. that I was getting,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, all of the people that do work with the, New York State
yeah,
government things.
yeah, yeah.
I was
So,
like, oh my God.
yeah.
it's
Have
overload.
they
It's
changed?
bogs@townulysses.gov. And I'm just gonna make sure that,
Uh,
let's see, I'm just gonna
send
try and send you one right now.
Have they changed the update from the town?
Oh,
clerk?
you know
Because I
what?
can't get into that either. That's been wiped clean.
I might have sent it to
The
.ny.us.
Yeah, they send out an update every Monday, I think. The town does.
Michael, I'm sending a test, it just says
And
test in the
I
subject.
was always able to get it. Now I can't get in. It's gone.
Which
Talking
one was
about
that?
the newsletter.
Yeah, the newsletter, like every Monday they sent it out.
It's
This was sent it out.
PNG 3188.
So she knows sets it up Friday, but
Well, Friday, whatever, but now when I go on to it, it's gone. It just
So yes.
doesn't exist.
usually comes in email.
3138
But
at
you found-
Gmail.
you were able
Yeah,
to
there's
get
no,
in
there's an
It just
area
bounce
you can
back.
get into it
Online.
online
Oh, I
and
didn't
it's
even know
not
that.
there anymore.
Oh, they might have lost it when they changed the website.
Mm,
Or the
okay.
links off. Is there a link for it? Still,
No, just Google just says that it doesn't exist.
it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Besides,
So-
I've gone into it many
What
times.
was it called? No, that-
Michael, it just bounced back to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
I should-
it said it couldn't find, townulysses.gov.
there's still some, that's worth a note to Carissa because she didn't. I don't know that you realize that people relied on that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you
it
always
couldn't
read
be
it, yeah, because it
found.
has everything that goes on for the week.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
yeah.
But I never went there because I got it in the email.
Hmm.
Right.
There, yeah.
So that's what I just tried to say to you, is that correct?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Okay, so hopefully something will come to you and.
Yeah. But that's what's on the website for the town, so. It should be, I don't know, it should be fixed.
Okay,
For
Yeah,
those that don't know.
yeah, yeah.
I was enjoying it being quiet.
That's over now.
You can have these
I
back,
was like,
right?
oh, this is.
This is great.
Print it out on the sheet.
So I haven't received that, but maybe it needs a moment, you just have to. Well. Yeah, I still, I just sent it out,
Yeah, well, what we can do is over the course of tomorrow, I can contact her and send.
okay,
Since
alright.
if the email is correct, I can do one from my work email,
Okay.
make sure we've got a connection. and-
Okay, yeah, cause
That is-
Carl and I have stuff we wanna send you.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Valentine's Day is coming up, you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's on their
That's right.
mind.
Okay.
I'm sure this fits the definition of candy and flowers.
Right. Yeah, and also, I just wanted to let board members know that Carl has raised a point of that some of the intermittent streams that are shown on, I think there's two different maps. But I think we should have a discussion about that coming up,
Yeah,
and
that
also
will be-
probably with you as
That
well.
one of the Association of Towns touches on. as well.
Yeah, so I think that's a discussion I'd like to have at our next planning board meeting, and I'd like
Okay.
to get some background from Niels, and your perspective as a town board member on that, and I'll send that material out that Carl put together, as well as whatever I get from you guys, to sort of facilitate that discussion. Because one map has more than the other, and we need to figure out sort of where we stand.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll
I would
make a
accept the
motion.
motion, Mo.
Well, make it.
Well, I
Oh.
want to,
Yes.
since we have time, since it's a little early, I just have a
Right.
story to kind of confirm why it was our decision not to put the property on 89 into the ag district was probably wise. Because just from personal experience, there's a piece of property right next to some of our land, and they're building a barn there.
Oh, yeah, is that a barn or a house? I mean, that's one big barn.
It's one hell of a barn for an apple orchard. They're gonna do a lot of hay, I can tell.
Well, that barn was taken from another area like 20 miles away. I don't know, and they brought it and they're reconstructing the whole thing. It's on Holton, is it Holton?
Out-
Houghton Road.
Yeah,
If you drive by, take a look at this thing. It's probably the biggest building in Ulysses.
Really?
It's a
Wow.
tremendous barn.
It's 'cause it's in the.
and it's right in our line from our big windows out.
Oh, my.
But the best part is,
Hmm.
because it was a move,
Yeah,
all that the town was required to look at was the foundation. And it didn't even need a plat, so
Mm.
we didn't even know where it was. And I question whether it's really 30. You know,
32 feet?
Well, oh, it's bigger than 32 feet.
oh, yeah, that's like 3 stories.
Yeah, right.
But it's
Well, and
agricultural.
that was when it had a roof. Did you notice that? That they had a roof?
Yeah.
And one day they didn't have a roof?
Yes.
Because it blew off in that big storm.
Oh, my God.
Did you see the crane they had there?
Yeah.
That crane was
Yes.
an
I
enormous.
swear to God, it's right out our window. I see everything that's going on,
Yeah.
unless it's on my walk with the dogs.
Yeah.
They're allowed to do that because it's. in the
Because
ag-
It's agricultural.
And they're
Not
saying,
they don't have
and they're
to have a high
saying that they're going to farm. Yeah,
speed.
there's,
Going
yes,
It's only 11 acres or 12 acres,
12 acres.
right?
That's a really interesting question, is
Yes.
if you are going to farm but haven't yet produced the base amount of profit,
Right.
They can
and
already,
then you go build this big thing, and then say you go under, or you decide, oh, farming wasn't quite for me,
Right.
what
What,
happens to
sort
that
of
building?
recourse?
Well, I'm also wondering if half of it's going to be a house, because there is no plan for a house there.
So far. Right,
That barn takes up almost the whole land.
and then when you go behind where it'd be nice to build, it's wetlands, there's the shoes. 'cause it's
Yeah.
pretty wet back there.
So that's just all under Mark's purview?
It's
Yes.
both Mark's and
Well,
mine, so.
But they haven't, they're not doing anything but the foundation to a barn that's being moved. And I haven't seen anything moved, except maybe some of the plywood inside, the outside is just new plywood.
Yeah,
And that's all that's.
they took the
there.
beams were from another
The ones
barn.
that blew off.
No, I'm saying the whole barn came from somewhere else.
They're
They
good.
took it apart and brought it over. The beams are what they brought in. Everything else they probably, putting all new on. Yeah.
If they turned part of it into a house, if they were to,
Yeah,
then they would have bypassed our whole system.
Yes,
And that's totally legit.
yeah, no,
yes, because it's a farm. Even though they don't produce.
The barn, not the, I didn't know if I quite caught your question. If for the house, any residential structure still has to meet the height limits. It's just agricultural buildings or have this exemption with ag and market law.
Yeah.
And do the
Yeah.
residential structures on the farm, they are under the purview of ag markets and the DEC as well, I understand, because they can, people can build additional housing for
Mhm.
workers and things like that.
Correct, for farmers, they can,
but
but the height of the buildings would still be limited.
now you have to know one thing, there is nothing planted there yet.
Well, I got that.
Yeah, it's just
Hasn't been-
12
hasn't
acres.
even been farmland for ages.
Yes.
Ever since I've. been.
So that's an interesting,
Okay.
but
Mm.
that's a real interesting topic. I also,
It is, and so, yeah, from a comprehensive plan perspective,
yes.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
but I don't know because of ag, the ag markets thing.
I
If
think
there
usually it's if you have farm
And it-
land and you build something, that's something different, but they're building first. And now they're going to
And then-
plant,
plant trees. and
which
these
would take
people
10
are
years
50
before it-
years Old.
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Well,
So you can add as
so-
well as I can.
Do we know what the resolution is with the county about that piece that we?
I don't know yet.
What's the
I
date
don't
on
know
it?
yet. I saw Crystal yesterday, but we were just in passing. Have you heard news?
I've not heard what the final vote was.
Okay.
So Niels, is Mark inspect that though?
He inspects the footing,
What about
So-
the structure though? Because we should from like safety.
yeah.
I mean,
Maybe if it's
personally,
occupied somehow.
this
we
is
think
30 feet from our property, of course, it's just a field.
Hmm.
But I walk by there every other day with the dogs. Of course, I'm keeping my eye on what's going on there, but. But also, I walk the perimeter, because I like hedgerows. And, when I saw it, saw it.
That's what I'm wondering,
Right.
from the, structural perspective, that's why you have a building code enforcement officer.
Right.
Yeah,
Are the ties proper, or, it's not gonna blow off into the neighbor's house and
Right,
Yeah.
hurt somebody, right?
yeah.
But that's the problem with the agricultural district. They don't have to.
Well,
There
you
are
have-
no laws
if you're
about it.
building a silo,
No.
a company has certified.
Zoning. I mean, I'll ask Mark to.
Yeah, I would be curious
that.
about that, because that's my biggest concern, is that
I-
if somebody is in there working, that it's
Yes.
safe.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Right.
Training, we would love training around
We might
this.
have some
Yeah.
training around this.
I think the zoning doesn't apply to the
Yeah,
ag
that's
district,
a
but I think the
good
building
point.
code. Yeah. I'm not entirely
I'm
sure.
not, I don't think so. Does the building code actually for agricultural buildings?
My understanding is it still has to.
Well,
apply
then,
to the building code.
then there should be architectural plans on that building. Even though it was torn down and rebuilt, they should have a plan of what they're building.
I will have to defer to Mark on that one.
So the problem with this whole conversation, Morris, is we're using logic or. That's as
I
far as
know,
I'm gonna go
I
with that
know,
statement,
yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but the lesson from it is
Yeah.
that proves some of the value, I know we were
Yes.
equivocating about whether or not to have something in the
Well,
ag district.
Yeah,
Because if it wasn't in the ag district, if it wasn't in an ag district, it would be under our review.
oh, yeah.
So,
One other piece that I noticed was, that I just wanted to ask folks about, the new construction between Smart Start and Stovers. a road was put in to a very large pole barn, which has got at least 4 bays, and I think it's probably dedication excavation, but I don't know. And my thought was, well, this never came before us because it's back in a cornfield, and it must be part of a farm.
Farm, right?
Do we know anything
I-
about this?
I can chat about that on the record if you want. That's,
Or-
yeah.
Mhm.
So. It's another same issue. Ag land in an ag district for an ag purpose, so it's not habitable structure. They're gonna use it for storage of farm equipment, hay, silage, stuff like that. So it's a similar thing. It's large, but it's under the square footage that we have for ag buildings.
20,000.
You know, height, we don't have any control over currently. So the only thing we do have is setbacks and square footage, which it complies with that.
Certainly needs a setback, at least from the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did cite them, however, so this was after the fact. The road, access road, goes through what Tompkins County has classified as a wetland.
Oh,
Ugh.
well, that's not good.
So they are currently on the docket for the BZA for our area variance, but the thing that's missing with that one, might be interesting to see what state has to say on this is, and I've been having back and forth emails with people at the county, so county. Let me backtrack a little bit, it's not listed as a federal wetland, it's not listed as a state wetland, just Tompkins County. Found out that Tompkins County only designated that from aerial imagery. There was a stormwater plan for that site, and from the plan from the engineer that I got, it looks like it is a stormwater detention. So legally, there's a distinction between, and maybe Rebecca can also touch base on this, if you know the legal things, but normally constructed stormwater detention is not protected under wetland buffers. So I'm trying to get that sussed out from the county, if they have any more information, if it's just aerial footage. When this actually started, because if it is a man-made or constructed stormwater detention, it's not purview to those wetland setbacks, and so that'll be moved.
Oh, so any pond that's receiving.
Interesting.
But if that's the case too,
So the
then
wetland,
It's clear cut. I think it depends how long and what functions it's have become established in it, and whether it has to be maintained. It's like an engineer maintained, if there's breaking off, but if it's functioning as a wetland for habitat and water filtration, I'm not sure that's.
Yeah.
It's left to the side. I think there's an awful lot of those that are now,
yeah.
they're our landscape.
so one of the questions I got, excuse me, to the engineers in the report, it says that there's like a 7 mil tarp placed at the bottom with riprap. So if that's the case, there's 3 things that help categorize whether something's a wetland. Prevalence of water, which always doesn't have to be there. Soil and plant. So if we have a liner at the bottom with riprap, there's not gonna be any soil, and right there, you don't have a wetland. So I'm trying to get that sussed out, but I also need to know if that was done prior. It's possible they took a wetland and made it a stormwater pond, which is a whole other issue. So,
That's interesting.
Wow.
Where'd all the documentation for that come from?
well, we have, with Smart Start, we have, annual stormwater reports that are required when they did that project. I've reached out, however, to our soils person to see if they have a speedies permit. Because I'm presuming there should have been one, if that was actually wetland that they made into a stormwater detention.
I haven't seen it, so it's between Smart Start and Stover's, because I'll go look at the wetlands map from the federal inventory and just see if there was a wetland there prior to, what.
It's between the mini golf and the Stovers,
What's that?
between the mini golf and Stovers.
Okay, I'll take a look.
So was that built without a permit?
No, the barn's got a permit, the roadway, we currently don't have any permits for that, so they did receive a curb cut permit for access from the state. One of the things I've been chatting with Scott about, and he would like to see the town move forward with this, so is having requirements for permits for driveways, things like that, which we currently don't have.
Oh,
Are you keeping a running list of things we need in the comp plan?
It's
next time?
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some of those things can be updated, and the compliments can take a really long time, so some, you know, if
Yeah.
you've got something adapted.
Yeah.
We have several items that maybe once a year we can put them on. So,
No. I'm taxed with meetings, but
yeah,
it'd be,
I'm not asking to put any more, but we have.
it might be something for the town board to consider if it wants to have a committee for zoning code amendments. Currently, we don't have anything like that.
Actually, a lot of towns do have that.
Right.
They have a small committee with, I think it's 2 town board, 1 planning and you. Well, no, that's the way, that's most of the
Yeah,
towns.
so you might wanna-
do it.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, that was very fruitful. I would accept the motion.
I did already.
You did, All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.